Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm a guy called Joe. This is Bootstrapping.Tools, and we're going to embark in a Let's Build series where we're going to build a DataStudio report from scratch together. This is going to just go from start to finish. We're not going to edit or script any of it. So I'm going to run into some issues that might be a little awkward while we've resolved those issues, but I think it'll be a great learning experience for both you and myself. So let's get to it. Up on the screen here, we have one of our guides. It's a very quick getting started guide. This is a great way to get to, just begin your first DataStudio report if you have never done that before. Otherwise, just watch the video, but I'll put the link in the description if anybody is interested in it. So first things first, we're going to go over to DataStudio. So DataStudio, you can get there by typing in datastudio.google.com. That's DataStudio, one word, no spaces. And then once you get there, there's a couple of different options you can create. Make sure you have your data source in there. We actually added the data source earlier in our Getting Started series guide. And then let me just quickly show. So data source, and you can choose all the sources. We are going to primarily focus on Google Analytics today. And when you click on that, it'll just show you which ones that you have access to, and then you can select the property and all of that. So going back to it, since we already have it connected, we don't need that. You could create a report from scratch, but there is this nice kind of Explorer feature, which is, I guess, marked here as beta. We'll use that because I think it'll be fun to use something new and something that's in beta. Everybody should have access to this. I've seen this for a while now. It's been in beta for like years at this point, maybe 1 year, but it's there. We should use it. So let's just click on that. So it starts off, and then looks like it's got a date and everything, add a source. So we're going to use our website data. So click on that. Looks like it's going to generate some stuff for us. This is pretty cool. I guess we can add charts. I was playing around with this a little bit earlier. As you add in charts and stuff, it's just going to, reformat or resize everything for you. But actually, before we go in, one quick tip, which we're actually going to do together right now, is to prepare on like a notepad. You can like write it down on a sticky or something like that. But it's really nice to outline the type of data that you want to see in your report before you actually start building. So over here we have Google Keep. This is just easy to show everybody what notes we're going to take. So I'm just going to use this. So we're going to title this note New Website Report DataStudio. And then in our notes, let's what do we add showbox checkboxes? There we go. So let's say if we're looking at website data, what kind of data do we really want to see? Right, we want to see users, right? And then for users, you want to be able to see new users versus returning users, just so you know what your user retention is like. So that's actually pretty good. Let's say retention stats, retention, and then maybe acquisition as well. So speaking of acquisition, you're going to want traffic sources. You're going to want referrals. I think that's fine for now. And then we'll want sessions. Sessions are good. For sessions, you might want page per session. Page per session is good so that you can see out of the users that come over to you, if they have one session, how many pages are they looking at during that single session. Actually, while we're at that part, then we're also going to want to know sessions per user, and that will be helpful just because as a user you want to see them come back and over again, perhaps same day or whatever. So it's nice to see if a user has more than one session at a time. That means that your website is useful and they're coming back to it, they're seeing value in it. Besides sessions, perhaps events per session. That way you can make sure that they're engaged. So speaking of events, let's throw events up here, and then I guess part of it is already done. It's events per session. We can do events. Let's indent that. Events per user. Yeah, that's fine. Events per user. I think there's something. We can do unique events, and then actually while we're here, events per. So we want unique sessions as well. That way we can see the total number of uniques, which should equate to a user in that sense, but let's add that there. And then of course, we don't have to hit all the notes. This is just like an outline for us to create the report. What else do we want to see here? Talked about the traffic sources and referrals. That'll be organic versus non-organic. You'll see email, and if there are other sites that the users come from, that should cover it. User demographics. Yes, that's a good one. That way you can understand who your audience is. So demographics, maybe by location as well. And that's always helpful. Pages, we'll probably want to take a look deeper into the pages itself. So let's say pages here. And then maybe we'll do page type. Maybe not page type, maybe page path. Yeah, that might be a little bit more helpful there. Page path, and then for the path, you should be able to categorize it yourself. And it depends on how your website is really set up. If you have everything organized by the root page, so like the domain, and then everything comes after that. If you don't have things like a category or some type of separation, it's not as helpful. But we'll just go with page path for now. Try to keep it simple. Which then we'll want page views, page duration, which that reminds me then session duration is also good. Session duration, if we can get it. Page duration, we have page path. I think that's good. This is a good starting off point. So users is most important than sessions. So okay, so let's close this. So if we go back over to our design over here, so we have new users already. Let's add another card. Actually, can we copy and paste this? No? Copy? Paste? No. Okay, so we'll just keep adding. Scorecard. Okay, so we have 4 scorecards. We have new users, new users, page views. Let's do another scorecard. Sessions, okay. I think we could probably use a line chart. That's a spark chart. We don't want that, spark lines. Oop. Click on that again. We want here we go, time series chart, line chart. Okay, so I think this is a good start for now. There's a lot of stuff happening on the page right now. We don't need all this stuff, especially this guy's huge. So let's shrink that. So one of the nice things about the Explorer option in Google Data Studio is that it will, kind of snaps the grid. It's not like totally free. They got individual boxes and it all fits in a certain way. So that's not bad here. Maybe we want these smaller actually, like that maybe. Then it bleeds over. Why does it bleed over? Can we adjust that? Oh wait, gotta select it. Close this. Can we adjust your, here we go, padding. Do we need this much padding on the top? No. No, we don't. Padding left, right? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, fine. We'll leave it like that. And then let's set the padding back to what it was before. What was it, 8? I think it was 8. Yeah, it looks about right. Okay, so let's sessions over here. This is new users, but that's okay. Let's just make all these about the same size first. And then we can worry about it. Okay, let's add another scorecard. 6 scorecards. That should be more than enough. Okay, we got a line chart, we got a table here. I think this table might be nice. It'll be able to show us, since it's actually already got page title associated to it, we can leave that there. Maybe what we'll do is, let's get some of these top level metrics together. And then since this list could get pretty big, let's make this full height. So bring this all the way down, drag it. Okay. I guess maybe we don't need this extra one. Let's just say remove it. Okay, so now we have a line chart. Let's expand this out. So this is page views. Okay, so we have users, we have new users. If we have users, do we need new users? Probably not. We can show that off by using a pie chart. I'm typically not a fan of pie charts. The only time I do like pie charts is when you're only using 2 or 3 metrics, like dimensions. Otherwise it gets really messy. Like as you can see here, it's like, what's the point of it? So let's say this is user type, and that will give us new users versus returning users. So that's good. So then that would make this metric unnecessary. We can change this box to something else here. So what do we say in our list here? So we talked about users, new users, returning users. So that's retention. So we have that a little bit. Acquisition. Maybe we have sessions and events. So here we go. Okay, so we have sessions and page views. So we want both of those. What we don't have are events. And yeah, I think that's it. Events. So we can do session duration or something like that. It really depends on what's most important to you. So as we have sessions over there, can I switch that? No, it's going to overlap. Okay, so we have users, then we have sessions. So let's make this events. So this is total events. Sure, why not? And then session users, sessions, total events, new users. And then we have page views. What's a good one here? Duration. Average session duration. If we do, let's see what the difference is. That's a lot. We want average session duration. Average session duration. That's okay, not bad. Not bad. Okay. Maybe we can switch these two around. Okay, so we switch those two around. This one's bleeding a little bit. Nice way you can edit that is over here. You can give it its own special name. So what you can call it is average session. I think that's fine if you just abbreviate it. Yeah, I think that looks okay. That's fine. People will understand. You can always, actually, maybe here's something we could do. We can style this maybe. So we can say the label could be a little bit smaller, and then we'll clear that out, and then it should just default back to what it was before. Perfect. Then that does make everything else smaller. Which one's better? Which one is better? Oh, here we go. Here, let's do this. Let's set it to 16. Okay, there. That's a little better. Yeah, and that should look okay once we submit the Explorer into a report. Once we make that little transition. While we're at it, let's drag that up top and move the line graph down. So now we have the returning users and new users closer to the user section over here. I wonder if we can make this smaller. But then it makes it hard to read. So when you come into that problem, what you can do is you can adjust how the legend is. So right now it's off to the side. We can do it up top. And if we do it up top, that should make it much better. There we go. Returning new. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks good. So when we click on everything, it updates. Okay, So that's fine. So that will stay there. Sessions, and then maybe we want sessions per user. That might be nice. Let's add another scorecard. See, so we have this other scorecard here. Let's see. This is supposed to be compact, but what's so compact about it? It looks about the same. Okay, let's remove that. It's actually messed up this guy over here. I don't want that. Bring you back down. Looks good. So we said, what we say, sessions per user. Number of sessions per user. Let's add another one. Okay, so we've added another one. Put this down here. This will be prettier, I promise. After we submit it, it'll look better. I should maybe drag this down a little bit. It's fine. So we put that there. So we have sessions per user. Maybe you want page views per user. Page views. We don't have page views per user. Maybe it's per session. I think that's what we said before. Hold up. Go back to our notes here. Page per session. Okay, so let's just quickly check things off here. So, okay, so we have new users, we have returning users, we have unique sessions, we have page views, we have the, well, that's page title, so we can leave that there. We have page duration. Well, actually, we have session duration, not page duration. Number of sessions per user. Check that off. So, okay, so what other pers do we have? Revenue per user, transactions per user, system per social events. I guess we don't have the other ones, that's fine. Okay, so we don't have the other ones. Maybe we can make these bigger, and this guy is huge. So we can actually rename this. Instead of number of sessions per user, we can say number sessions and then /user. Should be enough. And then I guess we don't necessarily need this metric. I wonder what else might be helpful here. Traffic source. Oh, right. So we want traffic sources. I think that's a good thing to have here. So traffic sources, I've always found them to be useful if we have some type of like bar chart or a column chart. Let's add that over here right now. Instead of the dimension being page title, we're going to go with source. So acquisition source, not enough info there. Here's one. It's source medium. It's probably what you normally find. There we go. Source and source medium. Use source. So that gives us all of that. This is broken down by date though right now. So we don't want the breakdown dimension to be date. So we also want medium just to understand a little bit better how things are broken down. So we have organic, referral. We might need to switch these two around though. Put medium up here, source down here. Okay, that's a little bit better. The only thing is these are really small, so perhaps the column, the bar chart might not be the best one. Maybe a column chart. That's a little bit better. Probably likely is that we might want to let's make it a little bigger, taller, or something like that if we can manage. That's okay. We can, whoops. We can fix that later on. So, here, let's just make this all pretty. Okay, this is looking decent. So this chart over here with page views, we don't necessarily care too much about page views in this chart here. So dimensions, your chart data, I think that makes sense. Page views, don't really care as much. I'll tell you what, let's keep it there. Let's add in users. And then, actually, while we're at it, we were talking about retention, right? So this might be better. So we have 14-day active users, 1 day. What's wrong here? Valid combination of dimensions. Nope. So we can only have one of those. Hold up. So if we can only have one of those, which one do we want? What do we have here? 1 day, 14, 28, 30, and 7. I'm usually a fan of like weekly active users. So let's just go with 7-day active users. So this will give us a decent line of what the retention is like from day to day. Is that useful though? I have to think about that. That's not super useful at the moment. Let's just go back to users for now. So we'll go back to users, regular users, and then we'll put in sessions, and then this way we'll be able to kind of see how the users line up with the sessions, which right now sessions is above, which is good. That means that users have at least, more than one session each one, which we can actually tell up there, 1.9, which is good. And then we'll do total events. And then that also, since it is above, that's good. That means that every user has at least one, potentially two events, so they're pretty engaged. And then while we're at it, I think we don't need to put in page views. They'll be about the same. So yeah, I guess we can leave it there. So I guess let's actually not have this metric. Let's add in. No, maybe we won't add in anything. This can actually need to be bigger. So if we switch this back to a bar chart, what that's going to look like. Oh, that looks a little better. Okay. Is that the best way to do it? What's a tree map look like? So tree maps are pretty cool. You can click into it and then it'll show you what it is. So it's default median, 2 levels to show. Source. I guess that's not that helpful. Okay, let's go back over to stacked bar chart. This looks good. Okay, so now that we have created a page here and it basically tackles all the things that we wanted it to, we have the new users versus returning users, which will show us a bit of the user retention. So since returning is about 50%, that's good. That means that people find it useful and they're coming back. We have our typical stats, user sessions, session duration, events, page views, all that, as well as a list of all the pages, which we actually need to quickly fix this one because it says page title. We said we wanted page path before. That way, just in case your page titles are all blah or like not great, at least you can. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Path. So that way, if your page titles are not set up that great, you can at least have that. So essentially, you want page path 3 because that's how our website is set up. Okay, great. So that should show us all that. I could have sworn there was another path section, previous page path, referral page path. I guess the data sets doesn't actually have the thing I'm looking for. What's page depth? No. Second page. I guess I want the landing page, right? No, I just want number of page views so I can see which pages are the most popular. And this page. There we go. Okay. I always forget like what the naming things are. Because I always think page path. You know, when you're making a website, you're always thinking about like the path and the routes. I always forget how they're exactly named. I don't create these reports all the time. So here, okay, so page, and then we don't care about the new users. What we care about are the page views. So I'm going to select that, and that way we can see which ones are the most popular pages. So page there, it's /index, which typically means home page, but if you have multiple websites, that might not be super helpful. So switch that over. This one is taking up some space. We don't care about the numbers. So if you go to style, you have the ability to remove row numbers. So let's click on that. And then now you have a nice little section, just enough room. So we don't need all of that. Actually, yeah, I think that's fine. The host name, we have the page views. That looks good. Okay, so what was I saying before? Right, okay, so we have the list of the pages and their page views, so we can track what our most popular pages are. We have a line chart that tells us, the number of users that we're getting day after day, and the sessions, and then total events, so we can track not only the audience that we have, but also the engagement level of them. And we just want to make sure that users is typically below sessions and total events, meaning that the users are more engaged. So, and we have our referral traffic, which is acquisition. It's just telling us where our users are coming from. All this looks good. So what we're going to do here is let's not title this Untitled Explorer. Let's call this Website Analytics, and we'll call it a dashboard. So you can save this. And now that it is saved, you can come back to this anytime you want. This is like a starting place. One of the things that you can do is to create a report out of it. And that's actually pretty fun. But before we do that, let me just jump back out here. And then so now reports, data sources, and Explorer, you have this guy over here. If you come back, you can use filters if you want to, quickly just kind of look through everything. This is a nice way to explore. But what I specifically like this using the Explorer for in the report is that you can go ahead and when you share, you can create a new report and share, click on that, and it's going to generate the report based on the entire layout you just did, which is honestly a lot easier to do in the Explorer, at least what I found, than it is to do it in the report from scratch. So it says untitled report again, but let's say website analytics report. And we called it dashboard before, so let's just call it the dashboard. Keep things consistent. Okay, so now that this is all here, notice we have a little bit more white space, so let's drag things down a little bit. This is already pretty big. I don't think we need to make it bigger. Leave that there. And I'm thinking about it. Let's bring this guy up. Hello. Up. Bring you down. Align it. And this gives this a little bit more room here. There you go. That looks better. Okay. Now we have some empty space. We can add some stuff here. So what was the other thing we were trying to do? We're trying to do retention, right? How are we going to do retention? How does retention look? If we were going to do retention, we want to lay out Kind of similar to how Google Analytics does its cohort analysis. It gives you like week 1, week 2, how many users, returns. Let's play around here. Let's see if we can do something worthwhile. I think it's kind of like it's like a pivot. It's kind of like a pivot. Here, let's try this. Bear with me. I don't know if this is gonna work. Let's make this fit. So what we're gonna do, the row dimension is, do we have cohorts here? We do. Look at that. We have a cohort. Let's remove you. And then we want users. Oh, come on. What's wrong? For configuration issue, valid combination, dimension, or metrics. Let me think. What is it going to be? Is it sessions? How do I add in the cohort? Okay, let's first get something that works. Move this. What does the cohort look like? Analysis. Is there no information about the cohort? Okay, so maybe that's the problem. The metric is the problem. So what else do we have besides cohort? We do have those active, the 1-day active users. What? Oh, because that's a metric. Okay, let's try that. Weak index cohort doesn't work. We're really just trying to see if something works at this point. So maybe weak index isn't the right one. I typically like to see it by week. I don't know why we can't do it like this. Valid fields. Give me something a little better. So we add 2, it doesn't allow us. But I want to add 2. Date? Nope. There's gotta be a better way for this. I don't know. What is the best way? To have multiple lines. That's only once. And what's different? Is it that you have to add here? No. But it says invalid. I don't know. I'm gonna have to give up here. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research and figure it out. But okay, so we can't have that. What else can we have? Let's take a look at our list. So we got the acquisition and the traffic sources, which includes location. Maybe we can do that. So we can't do retention for now, so let's leave that alone. We got the page path, page duration. I guess that's handled by sessions. So we can. Do we have room here, you think? Maybe. Here, let's try it. Duration. Oh, page duration isn't even something that we can get here. Okay, so then in that case, let's exclude it. We can't do that, so let's just mark that as done. Location and demographics. I think that's a good one. Okay, so what do we have here? We have the users. So let's shrink this. Let's create this into a column chart. Let's do, instead of active users, we'll just do users in general. And then we're going to do the breakdown dimension. Actually, we don't want the dimension to be that. We want the regular dimension to be, let's say, gender. And then we can do age groups here. Is this the best way to do it? Male versus female. Unless we want to do, let's do gender and then break it down by age. That should be a little easier. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Then sorting wise, let's go from left to right. That typically makes a little bit more sense in my head when I'm looking at it. Let's just see what it quickly looks like a bar chart. Nope. You don't want a pie chart for that either. So let's go back to our stats column. Okay. All right, cool. And then those colors, I don't know if you guys care too much, but you can always change the colors to make it a little bit easier. Like that, we can say blue and orange, or green and orange, whatever your colors are. Whatever you want. I don't think it really matters at this point. You just want a good contrast between the two. So let's make this a bright orange versus this bright blue. Okay. So this is essentially your report. It took us, not too long. What is it, like about 30 minutes in? Took us to create this. Let's see what it looks like. We go on view, click on things. It'll sort. Click on that. It'll also filter everything out. If you click on it again, it'll reset it. And then if we click on one of these dates, it'll also change it. So I think all those stats match up. And then you can also see all the different things, all the pages during that day. If you wanted to only see the organic for that day, you can do that. Click back on the date in the line chart. So that should reset that, and now you're only seeing organic. You can just see organic from DuckDuckGo. Speaking of DuckDuckGo, they had a commercial recently where they're talking about, oh, it's just none of their business. So privacy. So if you're into that, DuckDuckGo. We're not sponsored. Anyhow, so this is basically it. It's pretty cool, right? Click on that. Let's click on that again. I guess this is not set up, but we can set that up. Click on this. It'll show us stats. See users, page views. Yep, that looks right. So 80 people saw it, which means some of these guys saw it multiple times. And then there's only 16 sessions. So it's only 16 of the sessions. Clicked on it a lot. Interesting. That's what the stats show. I'm gonna make this apply filters. So let's go back to edit, go here, and then apply filter. There we go. Go back to view. Let's test it out. So if we click on one of these, it should filter everything on the page. Perfect. Look at that. A nice interactive report, and you did it all in about 30 minutes. But let's make it pretty. So how do we make it pretty? We got this top layer here. These are all boxes thanks to the Explorer from earlier. We can actually set these styles here together. So this is all white background at the moment, and they weren't touching. But if we make them touch, whoops, where'd it go? My bad. If we make them touch, then they're gonna look like that, and then we can actually remove the drop shadow. But instead of that, let's actually take all these and then let's group them. We're gonna hit arrange and then go to group. We're gonna group these guys together so that if we make any changes, they'll be done at the same time. We can easily kind of move them around. So for now, let's just put all these together. Not that it matters, just OCD like that. And what we'll do is once we click on the group, let's move this out of the way a little bit so so that we can add in a shape of a rectangle. I'm going to take this rectangle and put it up here. And then we're going to make it a, I guess that gray is not bad, but let's make it white. Actually, I think a gray might be nice. Make it gray. Okay, so this is behind it right now, but let's right click. Oops. Arrange, order, bring to front. Okay, so now this will be in front of it. Now when we place this on top of it, it's gonna look like that. Go to style, so 4 components selected. Style, let's go to background, let's make this transparent. Which means we lost this guy. We lose this guy. Back to style, make it transparent. And then we're going to remove the border shadow. Let's actually remove the border shadow from all of them, because who needs that? We have a gray background behind it. So now that looks a little better. This is a little smaller. Doesn't need to be that big. Okay. This guy. Do we like the gray? I don't know. If we load it up, it doesn't look good. We can always change it, but let's put it like this for now. Let's add a border shadow to it. Give it a border, black border. That looks all right. Looks like it pops. All right, yeah. So prettier. We didn't really do much. We just added a gray background and then gave it a box shadow and a border. Looks better, a little prettier, a little bit prettier. Actually, what does the background look like when we do this? It's all just white. So it's things that are on a white background. We can actually probably remove some of this, make it a little flatter. So let's take all of these and then remove that border shadow here. This guy, probably do the same thing. Let's remove the border, and then I guess that's fine. Do we want the header? Where's that option? Wrap text, show header. No, do not show header. Actually, no, we want the header. It's the chart header that we do not want. That thing. There we go. Much better. Okay. Bring this full width, full height. That looks like that. So if we go to view, looks a little nicer. It probably needs a border. Click on that, go back to style. Where's the border? Here we go. Back border. Oh no, that's footer. Whoops. Metrics. There we go. Border. No, one border. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. I think that's fine. We can probably move this a little over to the right. It looks a little closer to that. I guess maybe a border wouldn't be bad. A box shadow. It's not bad. Okay. So you all could use a transparent background. And that way it doesn't look like one's bleeding into the other. So you're cutting it tight. Let's shrink you down a little bit. And why not you too? And you as well. Okay, how's that look? Not bad, not bad. This looks like it's a sticky kind of sidebar situation here, which is pretty good. Now, let me shrink this down. Looks not bad so far. Interactive. Probably move this up a little bit. Click on that if you wanted to. It's just switching back and forth between the two. Probably don't need the header there. I can remove some of these headers. So let's go back in. 1, 2, 3. Chart header, do not show. Gives a little bit more real estate back. can probably bring you over a little bit. We don't need all this white space. Your borderline too close to the edge. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now the thing we might want to add here is a date range picker, because now you have this and everything. So let's multi-select all this, call it a group, and that way the background moves with it. I'm going to add in a data control. So add control, I'm going to do date range control. We'll place that right up over here. Resize it a little bit. Give it a little bit of styling. So whatever that gray was that we used. Here, let me move my bubble. It's nice because it'll show you some of the colors that are being used already. So that's pretty similar to it, but we can do better. So this one? No, that looks even darker. Same as this one. No, too dark. Lighter? Lighter. Okay, that looks good. So now we'll add in a border. Same way we did for this guy. Align it. So if you want to zoom in just to make sure things are aligned, you hit Option Command, or I guess Option Control, or Alt Control if you're on a PC, and then the plus button. And that's should make things bigger. It's not working. Hello? Or was it Control Option? It's not working. Here we go. Okay. That's fine. I thought there was a zoom. I think that's for other products from Google. That's fine. Okay, so we have a date range. We have the auto date range. Let's set this to, I know I keep saying this, that weekly is best, but when you're doing traffic, last month is always good. So we'll use that. That updates everything. Perfect. Okay, let's move my bubble back over to the right here. What else do we want? So we have a data control there. We want maybe another drop down. And then if you have segments in Google, that's always nice. I wonder if you can select it. So this is in market. What do they call it? I'm pretty sure it's just called segments. Let me see what options there are. Okay, yeah, I think that's fine. That like includes everybody. Right? Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so go back to edit. So now we have in-market segments, just a nice way to get a little bit more granular since you saw those options, there was a lot of them. So we'll make that larger, and then let's do the same thing we did for the styling on the other one. Add that, and now it looks like we have a nice little like top section here. So that's looking a little better. No, not too bad. It's really up to you how you want to style things. So I actually want to select all of this. Let's go end to end. I said let's go end to end. Review. Yeah. This doesn't look too bad. For the eye, maybe you want to change this so that it's got this nice alternating pattern. But really, I mean, I'm not a designer, so I'm sure you guys who are watching right now could do a better job at designing this than I can. Let's send this to the back. Then we'll make the color same color as that other one. What else did we do here? We added a border, right? Yeah. Border and shadow. Sure, so it's kind of alternating. Well, anyhow, this is about 45 minutes in, and you have a nice page that, you know, people can come in, they can say, hey, I only care about, you know, certain types of users. Maybe that's just like, I don't know, business services, technology. Click on that, and you'll only see people from there. They can set that if they wanted to. Change the dates around instead of the last 28 days. Maybe they want to see the last 14 days. You can apply. And you only spent about 45 minutes on it from start to finish. You know, you had everything. This is interactive. You can click on it, unselect. You can filter things. You can, you know, drill down. This is a great report you can have for your team or your business. 45 minutes, and that could save you hours of research and time, because the way that you do this in Google Analytics is by going to multiple different pages and typing in search queries and all that. And it's like probably 5 or 6, or actually, let me think about this. You have the audience page, then the acquisitions channels, and then you have the content, which is the page view. So it's like the engagement section if you're using the new GA for it. And then the demographics is a different one. We didn't even do locations here, which I guess is not that important. There's not a lot of real estate here, so we'll show you doing that in another time. It depends on if it's important to you. If it is, then you should add it. You can add a map. But 45 minutes to create a report that you can take a look at and understand in minutes, versus clicking through multiple different pages on Google Analytics, you know, potentially up to, I think it's like 6 or 8 pages that they have to go through, as well as filters and all that, which I'm including in that count. But yeah, I hope it helps. This is, I think I'm gonna do probably 3 of these Let's Build videos when it comes to DataStudio. So this one with the website analytics. The next one I'm gonna do is going to be adding in Search Console analytics. So we're gonna use the same report. Actually, might use the Explorer if I can. But if I can't, we'll just have to do what we just did here and just build from scratch, which is completely fine. Because we'll be doing it together. And then after the Search Console one, I'm gonna do some YouTube, I think, because YouTube is pretty popular. A lot of content creators out there, and I think it'll be helpful for y'all to see how you can, you know, create a dashboard like this to see all your YouTube analytics, especially for those who aren't just on YouTube, but maybe you have your own newsletter or your own websites, any of that stuff. So hope you enjoyed it. If you did like the video, please hit the like button so that other people can find this video just like you did. And of course, hit the subscribe button. You know, we're releasing content regularly now, so you know, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified when we do launch or upload those new videos, so you can follow along and learn and help develop, you know, a better business for yourself, or better techniques for to use in your careers. But this is bootstrapping, I guess. Let's build is what we can call it. I am a guy called Joe, and we're out.